Imagine a time you were about to board a flight. You're in line, you look back, and you notice that there's going to be a little baby or an irritable toddler on your flight. And you think something like, gosh, not today. Please don't let that kid end up sitting near me. Well, whether you're a parent or not, we all entered this world as babies. In fact, according to the CDC, approximately 3.8 million women delivered babies in the United States in 2017. About 800,000 of those mothers experienced postpartum depression or anxiety. That's 1 out of 5 mothers. And despite its high prevalence, conversations about postpartum depression have historically remained taboo. But what I'm really excited about is that high-profile celebrities are starting to use their public platforms to draw attention to postpartum depression. And the reason that this is exciting for me is because it's raising awareness. Postpartum depression is the most common complication following childbirth. What I really want you to take away today, though, is knowing that it's not only depression that can impact a mother's experiences with her new baby. Depression can actually present itself during pregnancy as well. In fact, all mothers are at risk of experiencing depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, and psychosis during or after pregnancy. Let me repeat myself. All mothers are at risk of these illnesses, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. And there's no one cause for postpartum depression or depression during pregnancy, as well as any kind of anxiety during pregnancy or the postpartum period. Instead, there are several risk factors that can elevate a woman's likelihood of experiencing these illnesses. And these risk factors include things like relationship and financial strain, a history of depression or anxiety, unplanned pregnancy, a lack of a support system, or a combination of a number of stressors. So these illnesses that I identified, they're completely treatable, and they fall under this larger umbrella called perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, also known as PMAGs or PMADs. And in my research, I learned that not all pregnant and new moms are screened for PMAGs during their medical appointments. And this is so alarming to me, considering that postpartum depression is the most common complication following childbirth. So my research also revealed that there are 2 main reasons why healthcare providers don't screen women for these illnesses. The first is because many of them are uncomfortable treating issues outside of their own specialty. And the second reason is because providers just don't know where to refer their patients to for specialized maternal mental health services. So you might be asking yourself, why does this matter to me, and how does this even impact my life? Well, maternal mental health complications impact communities, workplaces, and families throughout the United States. When mothers suffer in silence from these very treatable illnesses, their physical and psychological health is impacted, as well as their relationships. Their baby's motor, physical, behavioral, cognitive, and language development are delayed. And when there's inadequate bonding and attachment between mother and baby, that has future implications on a child's emotional development. So the grand challenge, closing the health gap, from the American Academy of Social Work and Social Welfare, is a call to action to address health inequities. And since many pregnant and new moms go to their doctors during this time period, what I want to do to close this gap is to change the experiences of healthcare providers and their patients during medical appointments. And in order to accomplish this, I have a unique, innovative proposition, and it's called the ASK training, ASK. And what it is a distinctive training program specifically for healthcare providers that will focus on strengthening the doctor-patient relationship while at the same time acknowledging the realities of motherhood. A refers to acquiring information. So the training is going to raise awareness of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. S refers to supplying connections. There will be role play activities which will focus on strengthening the doctor-patient relationship. The training program will also implement a one-of-a-kind referral system where healthcare providers, community mental health clinicians, and patients work concurrently together to come up with a plan before she leaves her doctor's appointment, so that she leaves with a date and time in her hand for a follow-up mental health assessment. And K refers to keeping the conversation going. So currently, there are already large national organizations that focus on raising awareness of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. And these organizations, they do provide trainings that vary in cost, as well as provide continuing education credits. There are few trainings, though, that bring together healthcare providers, mental health clinicians, and healthcare partners under one venue. There are also very few trainings that are facilitated by a multidisciplinary team. So the ASK training will incorporate these gaps, as well as implement the role play activities and the innovative referral system. The ASK training will revolutionize the delivery of healthcare to pregnant and new moms. And I believe that it will fundamentally change our perceptions and expectations of motherhood. So currently, I'm in the prototyping stage of curriculum development for the training. And most recently, I learned about courses at Harvard Medical School that look at best practices, techniques, and strategies to teach and engage healthcare providers during their medical education. I anticipate a final curriculum by summer 2020, and testing will immediately begin and continue through fall of 2020. Likewise, I'm in the middle of the prototyping and testing phases in the development of the referral process. I'm in the process of identifying a medical practice or practices that will agree to test this feature of my program. And I anticipate training to actually begin in spring of 2020 and continue through summer 2020. So once the training is actually finalized, it will be necessary to measure its progress. And so one of the aspects that needs to be measured is not only the amount of people that register for the training, but also the amount of people that participate in the training, that actually attend. And hopefully that number will increase over time. It will also be important to measure the rate of screening for perinatal mood and anxiety disorders at the medical settings that implement the referral system. And it will be imperative to track the referrals to mental health clinicians that collaborate with the medical practices and healthcare partners. I've also identified costs associated with my program. And they include marketing, website management, the cost for the physical venue for the training, as well as the cost for a webinar platform, training materials, as well as any kind of compensation for training facilitators. Identified income sources include partnerships and collaborations with hospitals, hospital systems, medical and nursing schools, as well as these national organizations that focus on raising awareness of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. Additional income sources include sponsors and donors, crowdfunding efforts, and grants. So, although I intend to launch my project just outside of Washington, D.C., specifically in Northern Virginia, which is the most populated and urban part of Virginia, with a population of over 3 million people. In order to scale, I will have to collaborate with hospitals and hospital systems, these national organizations that focus on raising awareness of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, such as Postpartum Support International, 2020 Mom, and Massachusetts General Hospital. I'd like to also collaborate with medical and nursing schools and plan to begin with the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine, as well as the University of Michigan. The identified resources for my project are the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the American Medical Association, because these organizations recently released guidelines to physicians that highlight the importance of screening for perinatal mood and anxiety disorders during pregnancy and through the entire first year postpartum. The competition between medical practices, retainment of patients, as well as adherence to best practices within the field of medicine will contribute toward the sustainability of the training program. It was 12 years ago when I flew from the Philippines to Los Angeles with my 1-year-old son. I clearly remember the snickers, the comments, and the looks from passengers on the plane that were upset by his cries. And I vividly recall thinking, do you think we're trying to bother you on purpose? My training program will change our unrealistic expectations of motherhood by starting with the delivery of healthcare. The improvement in the doctor-patient relationship will open the door to mothers talking about any challenges. As I work on finalizing the training curriculum and continue networking with hospitals, hospital systems, and different providers, I need you to raise awareness of my project by sharing it on your social media platforms. You could actually also tell your healthcare provider about my project. So my challenge to you is the next time you're at the airport, know that there will be women suffering in silence from perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. Because remember, the statistic is 1 in 5. It may or may not be the mom of the annoying baby on your flight. Thank you.